Welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all, and in this video, we're going to be jumping into a brand new map by Remoh, and it's entirely designed around the Australian Outback. It's the first of its kind in SnowRunner, and I cannot wait to take this Trail Cruiser 60 out for a rip and see what this map is all about. Now, as y'all may be able to tell, my voice is not doing too hot right now, and I think I picked something up not too long ago, but it should be gone in no time at all, so my apologies if my voice sounds a little iffy, a little scratchy, on and off here and there, but you know what? We're still doing our thing, and we're gonna go on an adventure, and we're gonna see what happens. I love this thing, dude. I absolutely love this thing. Not only do I love it as a vehicle itself, but look at what some of this stuff does. The freaking pop-up tent is one of the coolest add-ons that anybody has ever made for SnowRunner, and now, now that you're done camping on the beach, you can just, pull the tent back down, and then you can be on your way on your adventure. Now, what we are going to do before we set off is, hello, Beans, how are you? We're going to go ahead and activate the radar. And then once the radar runs, we're going to get a little bit of a better look at the area around us and kind of see which way we should be going. Now, one other thing to keep in mind is that this map is a work in progress, all right? This map is not done yet, and there will be a lot more to this area once the map is fully done. Oh, there it is. All right, so I'm actually really glad I did that because I would have just driven down the beach. I had no idea that that's where the actual road was. All right, let's see what we've got going on. Like I said, my voice is going to do some weird stuff throughout the course of this video, so I'm sure there's going to be comments down in the comment section about how, oh, why is your voice cracking? Why does your voice sound like, this, that, the other thing? It's because I picked something up not too long ago. That's why. Oh, this is actually really cool. So, it's based a lot more off of, having, deep ruts in the terrain, like you would have in real life in an area like this, instead of just, just rocks or just steep climbs. This is definitely designed around the Australian Outback. Now, I've never been there, but I've watched a lot of real-life videos of Aussie off-roading, and honestly, this is already giving me very realistic vibes. I mean, look at the way this stuff is designed. Actually, the way the trails are rutted out looks like, I mean, whether or not they are, in the Outback aside, these ruts literally look like ruts on trails that I've been on before, in real life, in the U.S. Let's kick it up a gear. You're definitely going to want a setup that is kind of in the middle, sort of, when you head out on this map. Not necessarily a crawler, because I feel like if you bring a crawler, it's not gonna, oh, look at that view. But no, if you bring a crawler, like a dedicated crawling machine, the map isn't necessarily gonna be as fun. This is one of those maps that is definitely dedicated to people that want to drive vehicles that you would drive, 2, 3, 4 hours on the highway to go to where you're gonna wheel and then get out there and go wheeling. And then, camp out for the night and drive 2, 3, 4 hours back home again. That's what this is designed to simulate, and so far, it's doing a very good job. I love watching the suspension on this thing do its work. It's so good. It's so genuinely incredibly good. I gotta give John props, because every single vehicle that John has ever released has gotten just a little bit better and a little bit better every single time. And John actually goes back from time to time and updates some of their vehicles here and there if they're like, oh, maybe we could make this aspect of it better. And they'll go back and update one that came out months and months ago. I love that, because that means that once a vehicle releases, that doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, I'm never going to touch it again. If they think of something that they're like, oh, I could make this better, they're going to go for it. Now, I'm sure that creek bed could be used as a trail. I just don't know if... Okay, so we've got another trail coming up here. We've got a stuck truck right there. Interesting. And we've got a river right here. And then over here, there's a whole bunch of, basically just a giant expanse of land that hasn't even had any design elements placed on it yet. So as we continue further and further out, you may see elements of the map where you're like, isn't there, like, shouldn't there be something here? And yes, there will be something there eventually, for sure. Now, where is that left-hand turn? I know there's some... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's like right here. It's very weirdly marked. It's like, you see it on the map, and you're like, where does that even go? And then you look at it like, you know, you look at it in-game, and it doesn't even look like there's a trail there until you're legitimately right on top of it. All right, let's ease it down in 4 low. Oh, proper mud, but that suspension is really helping to keep us level. Dude, look at that. That right there is such a realistic scenario that any vehicle, not necessarily any vehicle, but really almost any vehicle that would attempt a trail like this in real life, this is legitimately replicating a camera shot that you would see from a real-world vehicle, and I love that. And this thing isn't even crazy built. I mean, yes, it's on the most flexy suspension, but we're not on crazy tires. We're on an all-terrain, you know, and the suspension setup on this thing is very, very much within the realm of realism. It's very much within the realm of, you know, a suspension setup that you would see on a 60 Series cruiser that just drove past you going down the road. God, you really can just cruise in this thing. You can just cruise down these trails, and it's so nice. Oh, God. I can actually see the top of the cab of that truck that's stranded out there, too. There's probably no mission for it yet, because I don't think the missions are done for this map, and I honestly wouldn't blame Remoh for leaving the missions until, like, all of the other stuff on the map was done. That way, there would be a little bit more of a framework to kind of plan out the missions around. Or you could do it backwards of that, and you could design all the missions first, and then design the map itself around the missions. I mean, it's all in what Remoh wants to do, and I don't really know what Remoh's process is for making a map. I'm not a map creator, you know, but at the same time, I could totally see how either one of those approaches could work, depending on who the map creator is. This really does take me back, though, because we had some Australian Outback-themed maps back in MudRunner, and this has some of those vibes, but not all of them. And when I say it has some of them, but not all of them, I don't mean it's missing them, I just mean the vibes are different. This is a lot more densely populated in terms of, you know, in terms of, like, trees, grass, bushes, shrubbery, things like that. Whereas the Australia maps in MudRunner were a little bit more focused on, you know, kind of constantly varying the terrain. Like, there was some, you know, like, I would say just some wildlife, like, scattered around, and foliage and stuff like that, but it was not anywhere near the level that we have here in SnowRunner. Now, for example, like, that's not to say that the maps were designed better in SnowRunner. That's just to say that SnowRunner has more graphical elements on the table than MudRunner ever did. It's got more graphical assets on the table than MudRunner ever did, so that's probably why. But I think it goes a long way to making the environments feel very believable. And for those of you that like driving through realistic environments, I mean, dude, throw yourself in first-person view, build yourself something like the Trail Cruiser 60, and just literally cruise down the trail. I mean, this right here is probably one of the most realistic representations of mild to moderate trail riding in SnowRunner that I have ever actually seen. I mean, because look at this. It's literally off-roading in the Australian Outback simulator right now, basically. And I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there that's going to be like, no, you can't say that. It's not, you know, it's not a simulator. It's not a real simulator. And I'm like, okay, but it gets closer than a lot of games do, at least visually. And I'm sure, you know, BeamNG Drive is going to come up in that conversation because technically, yes, I will admit, BeamNG Drive has way more realistic physics, but there are elements of the way the vehicle interacts with the terrain in SnowRunner that BeamNG just doesn't do. Oh, yo, did it take us back to the beach? Oh, that's sick. That's so... Oh, God. Whoa, that leaned over a lot more than I thought it was going to lean over. I was not expecting it to lean over that much in any way, shape, or form. Holy smokes. Dude, that's sick. So it took us all the way back around down to the beach. Yo, we're gonna do a beach run all the way back to the garage. Let's throw this thing in a high and see what it'll do. Actually, you know what? We're gonna throw it in automatic, because it's probably gonna be even faster. Unless it refuses to change up to 6th. Yep, okay. Well, refusing to change up to 6th is apparently something that it wants to do, so we're just gonna let it be. I didn't realize how much lean it was gonna have on the flexi suspension ripping across the beach and high. That's pretty hilarious. Although it does still soak up the landings really, really nicely. Look at that. I mean, we're maxing out the suspension in the rear, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There's the garage area. Oh, I could totally see this being an amazing map to set up, like, realistic group runs, like, with, you know, with realistic trailing vehicles with friends. Oh, this is going to be so perfect for that. So perfect for that, dude. All right. Well, that's going to be a loop of one of the very first trails in this brand new Outback map. But if y'all enjoyed this video, let me know what you thought of the work-in-progress version of this map in the comments down below. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on, and I will see y'all next time.